Hey everyone, it's Emily with Hearty Soul. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how we make our immune boosting elderberry gummies and a few other flavors of gummies that we really enjoy in our household. We start this recipe out with a little bit of elderberry syrup, which if you haven't caught that video, I'll make sure to put it in a card right above this video here. We've made our elderberry syrup here for several years now, and we really enjoy it throughout the winter months when many seasonal illnesses are showing up and coming into our schools and our households. We especially use it during the flu season, but I also thought it would be fun to incorporate it into a gummy. So I've got this little silicone form, and this one happens to look like kind of like little donuts. There are many different kinds of silicone forms in order to make this recipe. There are little bears. You can get them in all sorts of different shapes and forms. Ours just happens to look like a little donut gummy ring. Today we're going to be making some elderberry gummies, but we also thought, since we happen to have some extra fresh fruit on hand, I thought we would also make some fresh fruit gummies, which are just a little bit healthier and less filled with sugar than some of the store-bought brands. Should we get started? Okay, so all you'll need for this recipe is elderberry syrup, some unflavored gelatin, a mold. We like using a dropper to fill the molds, and some hot water. So that's it. Let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is to grease this silicone mold. And you can use a coconut oil or whatever you happen to have on hand. So the mold is all set to go. Now let's start cooking up our ingredients. Okay, so we've got a half a cup of hot water, not boiling water, just hot water. We're going to start with adding a half a cup of our elderberry syrup. You can tell ours is kind of thawing from the freezer here. And then we're going to add a quarter cup of our non-flavored gelatin. Yep, you can add that. And we're going to whisk that up. Then we're going to add a half cup of our hot water. Go ahead. And then we're going to add another half cup of our elderberry syrup. So total elderberry syrup in this recipe is 1 cup of elderberry syrup. The basis of the recipe is 1 cup of elderberry syrup, a half a cup of hot water, and a quarter cup of non-flavored gelatin. It's all incorporated, so we're going to use our little dropper here to drop them right into our mold. Before we get ahead of ourselves too much, I am going to put this on a small tray so it's easier to transport to the refrigerator when these are all full. We'll pop these little elderberry gummies right in the fridge for a couple of hours while they form up. So while we wait for our elderberry gummies to finish up in the refrigerator, we're going to prep the other fruits that we want to make some gummies with today. And so it's very easy to make a fresh fruit gummy. It's super fun. I love fruit snacks, and if we can get our kids some healthy fruit snacks, all the better. The way we're going to do the rest of these fruit gummies is we need 1 cup of either puree or juice. So we could use orange juice, grape juice. You could use any kind of juice you'd like. Then we'll add in a couple of tablespoons of honey and then 3 tablespoons of the unflavored gelatin. We'll also add a teaspoon of lemon juice just to help preserve the fruits and the gummies themselves. So we're going to use our applesauce from this season to make this. For the apple portion, we'll squeeze up some fresh orange juice, we'll puree up our blueberries, we'll puree up the strawberries, and we'll puree up a few bananas too. I like to use my blender stick just because it's super easy to wash when we get done with all the pureeing. I'm not gonna worry too much about mixing these fruits. I'll go into the same place anyway, not a big deal. Okay, so we've got our saucepan. We're gonna turn it on medium to low. We're gonna add our first puree. This is the blueberry. We're gonna add a couple of tablespoons of honey. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of lemon juice. We're just gonna heat that up and whisk it. I'm gonna heat this up before we add in our gelatin. Once that's heated up, we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of the unflavored gelatin. Then we're gonna add it to either our mold or our 9x13 pan. In this case, I am going to add it to a 9x13 pan. One thing that I really love being able to do is when I have leftover orange peels, I'll stick them right in this jar. I keep this jar underneath my sink in my kitchen. I'll fill it up with the orange peels or orange rinds, and then I'll fill this jar right up with some vinegar, and this will infuse the vinegar with all of the good citrus. In about a week's time, we'll have some good citrus-infused vinegar that we can use for our homemade cleaning spray.
I want one. These are for baking.
Yeah, I'm going too.
Thanks so much for joining me this week as I show you how we make our immune boosting elderberry gummies. Have a great week. Check it out. We also make ramen noodle for lunch.